and social media channels. The viewpoint here transcends the narrow constraints of traditional media. In the human story, we take sides. Leading personalities are interviewed. We conduct professional reviews and reports. The original content we produce is created and presented by international journalists. You can only watch Canadian Afromedia channels. It was and still is a very enriching experience to interact with you. All opinions are welcome, but they are not our views, and we assume no responsibility. We broadcast from Ottawa City, the capital of Canada. Together, we raise the bar and expand our reach. Through Afromedia radio and social media channels. The viewpoint here transcends the narrow constraints of traditional media. In the human story, we take sides. Leading personalities are interviewed. We conduct professional reviews and reports. The original content we produce is created and presented by international journalists. You can only watch Canadian Afromedia channels. It was and still is a very enriching experience to interact with you. All opinions are welcome, but they are not our views, and we assume no responsibility.
In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development. In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development. In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. We are live and direct from our studio in Canada, and it's a great time. It's a beautiful hour as we are coming to you live and direct from Afromedia Canada, and we are broadcasting as well from here in Pretoria, South Africa. Thanks to everyone joining us as we are just waiting for our guests to connect with us. Let's just keep sharing this program as you are connecting, no matter the country you reside, no matter where you are. Kindly share this program. Let it go viral. The more you share it, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. And it's going to be a beautiful conversation on this program this hour. I really appreciate the team in Canada. Thank you for the pleasure of your time. I really appreciate every one of you in Canada. Thank you for the great work that you are doing. I really appreciate it. And to our team here in Pretoria, South Africa, thank you very, very much. I greet everyone, no matter where you are, no matter the country you reside. I greet you according to your time zone, and I greet you according to your language. In South Africa, Dumela, Ashe, Moloi, in northern part of Africa and the rest part of the world. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all the Muslim brothers and sisters and to all the Christians. Today is Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to everyone joining us. I really appreciate every one of you. I greet you and I welcome you in Nigeria. I greet you in South Africa. I greet you all over Africa, West, South, East, North, Central Africa. This is Africa on Camera, live and direct. And join me to welcome one of the great African leader, one of the great women doing great in Africa. If you can remember, for the last few weeks, I have opportunity to be putting African women on the spotlight. Today, we are going right away from here to Uganda to get one of the great women doing so well, based in America, but she's originally from Uganda. As you can see, she's live and direct. Lillian, let me allow you to introduce yourself to the listeners at home. Who you are, where you are, and the position you hold in the society.
Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everybody. My name is Lillian Okez. I am so honored and privileged for being here today. I like to introduce myself. Like I said, my name is Lillian. My parents originally from South Sudan. I was born in a country called Uganda, but now I'm based in US. So thank you so much for having me.
All right. I like the wrap, the wrap on your head. I really love it, and that is the symbol of who we are. Can you please do me a favor? Let your camera come down a bit so that I can see it more. I would love to see it. Yeah, you can just set that camera so that people can see. That is one of the symbol of who we are as Africa, and I love that. I really appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Welcome to the African Portal Radio TV International South Africa. Welcome to Afro Media Canada Live and Direct. Africa on Camera is a program where we showcase Africa talent and where we promote African products. Okay, let's quickly engage Lillian on some of the things Lillian is doing. Lillian is a community leader, and at the same time, she's one of the authors, doing so great and doing so well in America, but she's originally from Uganda, and I will be showing you some of the picture of the great moment with this great woman of our time. Lillian, let's quickly go into your book. First thing, let me just quickly talk about that. Tell us a bit about your book and tell us a bit about your journey to America.
So I come to America when I was 15 years old. I remember coming to America. I did not speak any English, so I have to start learning my ABC in 9th grade. So being in America only for less than 2 years, I find myself pregnant. And you know how Africa culture are, so they have to let me marry the man. So living in that relationship for 10 years, I find myself that I was not living in my purpose. I was not living in my potential, and I don't like the person that I become. And when I look around in my community, I try to find a mentor. I try to find a role model, somebody that can lead me, to guide me to where I want to go. I did not find this person in our community here in America. So I said, you know what, as a woman, especially coming from Africa and living in Africa community, most of the time we find ourselves we are voiceless. So I decided to, you know what, I'm going to rise up and be that person. I want to be the voice to women. I want to be the voice for Africa. And that's what I decided to start my cleaning company. And then from a cleaning company lead me to be a speaker. From a speaker, I said, you know what, I didn't see anybody from my village or anybody from where I come from that they written a book. So writing a book really, I like to read book, and I have a lot of African author that they write book, but most of our African author, they focus on pain and they end their book with pain. So I want to write something that will lead us from the lead us from the pain to the victory. And that's why the book is called The Spirit of Warriors, because I truly believe we as Africa, we are warriors, we are king and queens, and we need to identify that gift and really live into our warriors that God has created us with.
Wow. The Spirit of Warriors is the book that you author and trending, and a lot of people have been talking about it. I have opportunity to do some background check about you, looking at what you are doing and what people are saying about your book. Very encouraging and very interesting. But let's talk about your own personal journey. I'm going to the book, The Spirit of the Warrior. And I know, like you say, that you are changing the narrative. You want to bring the Africa author to another level whereby we be able to tell our story raw as it is. Let's look at the journey from where you are now to where you are coming from. Let's talk about being a woman in America, born in Uganda, originally from South Sudan, as you said. Tell us a bit about that journey and link us up with the journey from Uganda and what happened in Uganda?
So my partner originally from South Sudan. They flee from South Sudan because of the war. As you know, is this thing happening in so many African country. So I was born as a refugee in Uganda. So living in refugees camp for 15 years. Finally, in '05, we have the opportunity to come to US, and we were supposed to come to US back in 2021. But I'm so grateful that our coming to America delayed, because if I were to come when I was like 11 years old, I could have not remember much about Africa and really stand firm and believe in my culture the way I do right now. Because of the delay of not coming to America in 2001, it gave me another 4 years to really understand who my people are. And living in refugees camp, our refugees camp, it wasn't like a bad refugees camp, because we have a plot where we can plant our food, and we do have a clean water, and we have friends, and we have house that we can live on. So our life was really comfortable. But we didn't know that we were refugees until when we arrived in America, and then we start hearing the word refugees. And that, for me, it was a bit shocked for me, because I'm just like, I didn't know that I was refugees. And another thing that shocked me here in America is when I start hearing a word, people calling me a Black woman. And in Africa, we don't do that, because if you're from South Sudan, they call you Sudanese, or they call you Ugandese or Ghanese. It doesn't, like, whatever country you come from, they identify you from that country. But coming in this country, somebody identify me with my color. It was a shock for me, but at the same time, I know that that is not who I am. Sometimes people just say, "Oh, this is just a word. They're calling me Black, or black and white, and all this." Word is powerful, and word can really change how the person think and how the person move forward with life. So, for that being said, I did struggle a lot when I come to America. My children book, which is coming very soon, it's called Ageno. In my language, it means hope. It's really my struggle in America's school, in America's system, and how I overcome it, and how I really want to raise up my voice to all the young African people, to know that if you are living in America, know that this is a land of opportunity. Don't ever look down on yourself, or don't ever let anybody talk down because you are African, or you were born in refugees camp, or they call you whatever Black person is. But for me, I don't believe that. I believe that I'm a true African woman. I'm a warrior, and I believe in my culture. I am proud to be Africa. So that's why you see me in all my clothes that I wear, all my pictures that I'm taking, or I took. I want to make sure I present a little bit of Africa in that.
Wow. And I love that about you. And that is one of the things that attracts us to you. But let's talk about your journey to become the author, and your experience. All right. I think we having challenges with your network right now, but sorry, the team in behind the scene in the studio kindly put up the adverts. Then we get to know what exactly the problem with our network. So we can just, let's see what is going on from your side in the studio. Back to you in the studio. All right. As we are still with
Afromedia Canada en direct d'Ottawa, la capitale du gouvernement fédéral canadien. Nous avons présenté l'histoire non couverte sur nos plateformes radio et médias sociaux. Un grand merci à vous d'avoir partagé la vôtre avec nous. C'est toujours une expérience mémorable que d'accueillir une personnalité de premier plan ou de débattre d'un sujet d'intérêt commun. Toutes les
Ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of best-selling authors and filmmakers? Afromedia offers an engaging media platform so you can begin your journey today. Explore our website now and let yourself be moved by the incredible tales of these incredible creatives. Ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of best-selling authors and filmmakers? Afromedia offers an engaging media platform so you can begin your journey today. Explore our website now and let yourself be moved by the incredible tales of these incredible creatives.
In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development. In the coming show,
We broadcast from Ottawa City, the capital of Canada. Together, we raise the bar and expand our reach. Through Afromedia radio and social media channels. The viewpoint here transcends the narrow constraints of traditional media. In the human story, we take sides. Leading personalities are interviewed. We conduct professional reviews and reports. The original content we produce is created and presented by international journalists. You can only watch Canadian Afromedia channels. It was and still is a very enriching experience to interact with you. All opinions are welcome, but they are not our views, and we assume no responsibility.
All right, thank you very much. I really appreciate every one of you. I can see that you are the backstage. All right, thank you. I think that have to do with the network. Thank you very much, the great team in Canada. I really appreciate the team in Canada for the great work you guys are doing, and I really appreciate every one of you connecting. Please, as you are connecting to this broadcast this hour, share, like, let it go viral. Your comment is very, very important on this program. Please kindly comment, share, let it go viral. Remember, when you send your comment through, you are the co-host of this program, and it's going to be a great time with our sorry about that, it should be Uganda. We'll quickly look into that. All right, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, let's continue with the conversation. The journey to become an author. You have opportunity to also be one of the motivational speaker through Les Brand. What is your journey? How do you get connected to this? And what Les Brand invested into your life? Tell us a bit about that. What make you become a author? How do you make it to become one of the boys that's now you are a motivational speaker? Link all this together. Let's talk about your book, talk about your achievement, talk about your experience in America. Give us a bit of the of the journey so far.
Okay, I think that's like 3 questions in one.
Exactly.
You know, I always tell people, or I tell my particularly women or people from Africa, that my journey to become a speaker or to become an author, it got nothing to do with Les Brown. It got nothing to do with anybody. You have to decide to do what you want to do in life. It's not about the leader. It's not about who is leading you. It doesn't matter how many people is leading you. If you do not decide to become great, you will not be great. So I decide to go and join Les Brown program because I have the burning desire that I don't see many of us Africa rising up. And we are living in one of the greater country in the world. And we have thousands of us here. We just go to work, come home, watch TV. If we have some small money, we send back home, or we build a house back home. We don't think beyond that. We don't think beyond how can we get this knowledge and really go above and beyond our limit. So for me, when I was in that relationship that I do not want to be in, I always look around my community and I see the pain. And in our community, I'm speaking specifically to Sudanese community because I don't know much about other community. But in our community, I would say 90% of our people are divorced. And that is a crisis in our community. And when I see our mothers, our mothers, when they were back home in Africa, they work in the field and they do exercise and their body's healthy. But now they're in America, they sit down all the time. All they're doing is like eat, sit down, and if they don't work, they just sit around. If they work, they just go to work, come home, eat, sleep. That's all they do. So that really do something with our mother's body. A lot of our mothers here in America, they are going through health crisis. Diabetes, high blood pressure, depression. Those are something that can be prevented, but we just don't know how. And so for me, that really what motivated me, because I see the crisis in our community and we know how to talk, but we don't take action. And
Hmm.
for me, that is silent is a killer of everything. And I choose not to do that. I choose to take action. I continue working hard. I continue sharing my story. There's so many times that because I'm a woman and because in our culture of Africa, many of us we don't rise up and share our story. A lot of people tell me in the community to just keep quiet, to stop, to quit what I'm doing. But what I see is I say I can quit. I can listen to them and quit, but our people will still be in crisis. So it's
Hmm.
better for me to just rise up, even if I save one person, it's better for me to do that. If some of the other people they don't want to listen to me, or they don't want to read my story, or they don't want to see the testimony how I overcome all those things, that is their lack of knowledge. But for me, I just choose not to don't keep silent. And it got nothing to do with Les Brown. It got nothing to do with Jim Rohn. It got nothing to do with Lisa Nichols. It's because I decided to rise up and be the person that I want to be. That's why I'm speaking to you today.
Wow. And I like that. You know why I intentionally take you into that is the identity. Because most of the people doesn't have the personal identity. They believe that whatever it is because of Les Brown. That is why I'm doing what I am doing. So it has nothing to do with whoever motivates you or whoever leads you. It's all about you. If you are not decide to do it, nobody can do it for you except you yourself. And it's time for us to think out of the box and start to be building. We talk too much, but our action is very little. And it's time for the action. Talk less and give us more action. And that is what this lady is doing right now. She just published a book, and I'm so excited about this. That you are one of the great women that took it upon yourself to publish a book. You know what that means? That means you are opening the eyes of the fellow women. You know, when you empower a woman, you are empowering a community. And when a woman publishes a book, she opened the eyes of the community. So you are an eyes opener because you publish a book that's bringing the balance to our community. Let's talk about it, and let's talk about the topic. I mean, the title of this book. What give you that title, and why that title, time such as this?
The spirit of warriors. That for me, there's a reason why the world are putting their eyes on Africa. There's a reason why they oppress us so much that they don't want us to have the knowledge. They don't want us to see, because they see something in us. They know that we are the warriors. It doesn't matter whether you go to America, you go to Canada, you go to Australia. The world are running with Africa idea. They get our idea and they make million out of it, and then we turn around and use our money to pay for our own idea. And for me, that is it's so painful for me to see that. And so when I look at us, how we overcome all these oppressor, that they try to press us down. They colonize us. They try to destroy our culture. They try to destroy our language. They try to destroy our mind. They try to destroy our soul. We still rise up and say, for some of those who find themselves in this, and they will say, I found myself. I know that I'm a king. I know that I'm a queen. I know who I am. And we rise up and do what is built in us. So for me, I truly believe that we are the warriors. It's just the world, they try to turn it upside down so Africa can look as a very poor country, as a very unknowledge country. But the truth is they are using our knowledge. And the most hurtful part is they are using our knowledge, they are using our resource, and they are turning it around and using our money to be wealthy. So for me, that is the spirit of a warrior that I have found in us. And many of us Africa need to wake up and find those warriors in us.
All right, let me take you to your book right now. Like the chapter in your book, let's look at the chapter bit by bit. We may not be able to cover everything, but we just want to capture some of the active events in that book. Let's talk about the chapter 1 of your book. What's happened there, and what are you saying in chapter 1 of your book?
The chapter 1 in my book is I started as exactly where I come from. So I started from me all the way to 5th generation back. So it started from myself, and then I go to my mom, and then the reason why I lead it from my mom family and from my dad family is only 2 generations is because I grew up with my mom, and she teach me a lot about where she come from. She teach me where they migrate from, and she know her generation way back. When I go to my dad's side, because I did not grow up with my dad, I didn't know much about my dad. I can only I know I should have do more research to get more, but this is not my last book. So I decided to go 2 generations for my dad and 5 generations back to my mom. The reason why I did that is because this book, someday if I'm not here, any of my children, let me say if something happened, God forbid, my life been taken away. My children, when they grow up, they can pick up this book. They will go to Africa and know exactly which village they are from, and know exactly who is their great great grandpa name, and know exactly what is their clans and their tribe, and what kind of food those people are eat. That is how I started my book. I wanted to start with the beauty of us.
Wow. Wow. And I like that. Okay, let's talk about the beauty now. Let's talk about the food. Let's talk about the village. Let's talk about what is trending in your village where you are growing up.
So in my village where I come from is the same as any other African village. We do have our own traditions. I mentioned this in the book where because my people, they migrate all the way from northern of South Sudan, and they come all the way down to from northern side of Sudan before, and then they come way down to south. And we are in 9 different countries in Africa. Those are the Luo people. If you know about Luo people, is LUO. So we are in 9 different countries because when the colonize happened, they kind of separate us, and some of the people go into like Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, and South Sudan, and Republic of Congo. So it doesn't matter where Luo people are in Africa. It doesn't matter where Luo people are in the world. We are always such a pride people. We love who we are, and we always tell people we are not born, we are just created. and so and so for that being said, being a Luo person and being a Luo prize of myself is that there's something that I mentioned in the book where when a child borns, when it's a boy, they stay inside with the mother for 3 days. When it's a girls, they stay inside with the mother for 4 days, and then after the 4 days or after the 3 days, there will be a celebration of celebrating that baby. So there will be a chicken kill or a goat, and with some homemade alcohol and stuff. So I really kind of laid down who we are and what we do when a child born, how we protect the mother, and how we heal the mother when a mother have a child, and how our young people learn from a storyteller and learn from seeing our parents doing the thing that they do. In order for us, like, we don't have any school that we go to, we don't have any cookbook that we look into. We just see our mother cooking something, and we pick it up, and then when you're old enough, you just cook it.
Mm, mm. All right. Let's talk about the children being born in your village. The female child spent 4 days, a male child spent 3 days. Is that still continue right now, or is that, I mean, it's no longer in the system?
It's sad to say for us who are in America, we not continue with the tradition, but people still in Africa, they do continue with that tradition. It's just something that we grew up seeing our great grandpa doing, and people start doing it. But here now in America, when you have your child in a hospital, people already around it. But before, back then, when a mother have a child, nobody's supposed to come around the child for, if it's a girl, for 4 days, if it's a boy for 3 days, like nobody, just the mother with the baby and the father and maybe a close family member. Nobody else come close to the baby until the 3 days. But now when you have your child in the hospital, the doctor, the nurse, everybody already touched the baby. So the tradition is not the same anymore.
So, what is that tradition does to the children, especially, well, I mean, in your own country, when they are not allowed to be touched for 3 days or 4 days? What does that signify, and what is the benefit of that?
I think the benefit is because when a baby born, there is some connection with the mother. There's some connection with the father. There's some connection with the family member that um Africa way back, especially in my village, we don't know anything about Christianity, but we still believe in the spirit that protect us. So they don't want any bad spirit to touch the baby. So they keep the baby inside for if it's a boy for 3 days, and then after 3 days they have to like kill they they pretty much kind of sacrifice chicken to 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 kind of like protect, like the blood, to protect the baby and catch out any bad spirit, to make sure that child grow up and to prosper in the land where he or she were born.
All right, Lillian, I like the way you explain it. I'm an African person, and I believe so much in African culture. I believe in so much in African tradition. But during those time, 3 days, 4 days, is there any sacrifice or any spiritual exercise that they are performing within those 3 days? Or is just only after the 3 days they are going to kill the chicken and slaughter the chicken, or use the blood for the ritual or something like that? Is there anything happened the first day, second day to the fourth day?
No, there's nothing happened. They just keep the baby inside, and they have this local rope like from banana tree. They will tie it around the compound of the home, so people can know that this mother already have a child, and they do respect that, so they don't try to break the rope, because they will tie the rope around the compound of the place where the parent of the child is. So I think it's just the human nature of human beings. Like there's some kind of development, or there's some kind of connection that got to do with the mother and the baby, and our African people, they know that way back, and they try to keep that connection to make sure that that child maybe get everything that he or she need. um I'm still need to do more research on that, and ask question why they do that. But for me, being a mother, I truly see that like you need that connection between you and your baby for at least a week before you guys can separate.
All right, you just got the point I'm trying to hit into. I'm trying to get more clarification. I mean, clarity on that. I'm trying to make sure that you do more research. All right, I like what you say about that, because African culture is one of the things that we need to portray and put on the spotlight as well. We believe in who we are. We love being black, and we love our culture. We love who we are. Now let's talk about your name, Lillian. You say you don't believe so much in religion. Is this your real name, or this is the name you pick up when you get to America?
This is the name because I was born in refugees camp. When people came to refugees camp, they're usually like people from UN to welcome the people who arrive in this new country. So the lady who helped my mom give birth to me, she gave me the name Lillian. Well, she gave me the name Lily, but when I grow up, I turn it into Lillian because it kind of Lily sounds so not Africa. So I'm like try to add it to be more Africa. But I have my middle name is called Labutu.
That's where I'm going to. All right, the Labutu, is it given to you by your mom? Is it given to you by your dad, or is this the name that you decide to give to yourself?
So the name Labutu is just in the African culture, they always give name with something. There's something connected with the name. So the name Labutu in my culture, or in my tradition, is the baby who were born with all of her, like she did not break the how would I call it, like a package. When the baby is inside the mother womb, there's something that cover the baby. So I always my mom make fun of that. They say you were too lazy to break that that packet out. So I come like that with all that, and they have to break it out to let me breathe. So, and that is the name they give me because of because I did not break from I forgot what it called, but you know what I mean. So
I understand what you mean. I have the similar story, and I mean, let me just tell it the way it is. I have the similar story. I'm the same child as well. In my own tradition, they call them Ojo. The child that it didn't break there's a sack. I mean, the sack is not being opened
Right.
by yourself. So the sack is like a sack in the womb. So you are like inside the sack when you are coming out. So it's the same thing in our tradition. They call them Ojo. If it's a woman, they call it Aino. So those are the things that I just want to get to, because we must get to a level where we able to tell the African story in a very unique and a very interesting way. So that name is name that you brought to yourself from heaven. So if the name is there, any child being born in that manner always get that name. Is that not correct? All right. Okay. Now let's talk about the journey now. Do you migrate from Uganda with your mom, or you migrate from Uganda alone? And what is the journey like? How do you get to America from Uganda?
Oh, when my mom flee from South Sudan, she was pregnant with me. So I was born in refugees camp. As you know, so many Sudanese are in America because the American government, Australia government, and Canadian and Europe, they decided to bring the Sudanese to America, and that's how we came to America. So we come here as a refugees.
All right, but right now you are no longer a refugee in America. You are now a citizen of America.
Yes.
Okay, correct. All right, let's quickly look at your journey before I go to the guys in the studio, before we bring you some of the advert that we have for you in the studio. When you arrive in America, you are in a relationship that is not palatable, and you decide to let go of that relationship. Tell us experience about your journey when you let go of that relationship, because some people will be going through some challenges right now, and some people will be experiencing some abuse in their marriage, and they decide like, okay, well, they don't know what to do. Probably your whole story may help somebody. Let's hear your story.
From my story, like I said, I was not in a relationship when I get in this country. I come here when I was 15 years old. I started my high school. I wanted to get education, but what people don't know is so many times when people come to America, that after 3 months, the government will cut all the benefit that they're giving your family. So now your family have to figure out a way to live. And my mom was a single mother of 7 children, and I was the
Sure.
second oldest. So I see the way my mom was struggling, even like the money she was bringing in, it was not enough to pay for our house and to buy grocery. So I decided to get a job, and at the time I learned how to drive. I decided to get a job. So life become too much pressure on me, because here I am, I have to drop my mom to work. I have to go to work myself and go to school. So at the time I was not looking for love, but I guess the life was really overwhelmed and I wanted to find some kind of comfort. And that when this man come into my life and I find myself pregnant. So living in that relationship for 10 years, I would say is a knowledge relationship, because if I have the knowledge that I have now, I don't even think I would even get close to even marry anybody, because I truly believe in the power of education. I truly believe that anybody in this world, if you are thinking about getting married, you should know yourself and love yourself first. Make sure you have enough love that is overflow to share with somebody that you want to bring into your life. You should not walk into relationship empty and try to look for the love from outside and try to ask for somebody to fulfill that gap that is missing in your life. So for me, that was the journey. And then when I decided to leave, I really feel that I feel lost in a relationship. I feel hurt. I feel depressed. I feel like I don't have anything to live for. And for me, walking away is I walk away to find who Lillian is. And that it was painful, because I want my children to have a father, but that father was not nurture me. And I'm not telling anybody out there that if your man is not nurture you to leave him. Maybe you can find a common ground to build the relationship. But there's so many times in a relationship when you decide to develop yourself and you decide to grow, you either grow together or you grow apart. And I find myself we grow apart, because here I am trying to take all this development class, try to improve myself, and he tried to block me from that. So I find ourselves we have a big gap of misunderstanding, and that when I decide to step out.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to your book, because that is why you are here today. And that is one of the main reasons. All this I'm just getting into, we are just getting to that just to establish some clarification and just to make sure that we get some clarity on some certain things. Let's talk about the chapter 2 of your book, of which chapter 1, you talk about yourself, talking about your plan, talking about your background and where you are coming from, your experience, life in the in refugee camp and the rest. All right, let's talk about the chapter 2 of your book. What happened there?
I think what happened in chapter 2 is the beauty of our people. Like before they colonized, before everything, when we were just minding our own business in Africa, when we have a king and queens and and everybody were just having fun in the village. They don't know anything about anybody coming to colonize us. So that is the chapter 2 is really the beauty of our people, the unity and the love.
Mm. During your research, is your mom ever tell you a story about the what life like during her own time, being a woman, being a young lady do you have any idea of what it is then during your mom time? Do you have an idea what life like there?
Yes, I do, because I ask a lot of questions, and at that time, as you know, education was not there. So um, when you are born, you pretty much start training. If you are a girl, you start training to be a good housewife, and if you're a man, you start training to be a good man that can take care of their family. So that all they know at the time, and that what make it difficult for us Africa, because when you are born as a girl in the village, they start training you right away to be a good wife. They don't train you to be a good doctor or to be a good lawyer or to bring some kind of positive change in a community. And so I think that what really that what hold me to stay in the relationship for 10 years, because when I go to my community and I said, this man is not feeding my spirit, people don't understand what I'm trying to say. Like, what do you mean? This is how we grow up. Men, they always say things. Men, they always like to fight. So man is always man. That's what they will tell you. But the truth is, when you start to get more knowledge, you know that being in a relationship is not all about just being a wife. It's not all about just taking care of the house. It's not all about being a mother. You can be beyond that as a woman. You can get education. You can work in a corporate. You can hold a high degree and still take care of your home.
All right. Let's look at the your achievements right now. What is keeping you going, and where are you eating to from here?
What keep me going is the pain that I see in our community. So many of our young people, they're not living in their full potential. And so many women, you can see that they are living in a abusive relationship. You can see that they want more for their life and they don't know how. And so my job is, I love to educate people. I love to train those women to find their potential, to find their voice, and to find their voice in a good way. Because most of the time in our community, when women become educative, our men, they say they are aggressive. They're now being disrespectful. They're not taking care of the home the way they should. But how can we train our women to find the self-confidence, to find the self-love, for them to love themselves, for them to have the confidence, and still be a good mother, and still be a good wife, be a supportive to their husband, and for the husband too to be a supportive for their wife, so they can have a strong, beautiful family. And for our youth to start knowing from the early age that um, they can start dreaming big, they can start believing, they can really make their dream come into a reality. This is a land of opportunity. I keep repeating this. You should not put it for waste. Do something with your life. If you're a youth, you have the opportunity to get education and do more and be more, instead of finding yourself drinking alcohol or taking drug. How can we turn this around and tell our young people that you are made for more?
All right. Okay, to the team in the studio, kindly give us some updates from the studio, then we continue from there.
Avec Afromédia France, vous êtes au cœur de l'actualité en Mauritanie. Afromédia France, une couverture exclusive et des perspectives uniques sur les événements les plus importants. Afromédia France. Ne manquez rien de l'affaire Aziz et suivez en direct toutes les étapes de son procès grâce à notre couverture juridique en profondeur.
Vous recherchez des informations fiables et actualisées sur les histoires africaines? Afromédia France est un bureau d'information qui fournit aux jeunes Africains des informations et des débats sur la politique, le développement économique, la culture et les événements mondiaux. Afromédia France s'efforce de fournir des informations précises et fiables, ainsi que des débats libres, qui aident les jeunes à prendre des décisions éclairées et à mener des discussions constructives. Afromédia France met l'accent sur le rôle de la jeunesse dans la construction d'un avenir meilleur pour l'Afrique et facilite la prise de conscience et l'engagement politique des jeunes. Les informations et les débats fournis par Afromédia France visent à encourager le développement durable, l'esprit d'entreprise et la justice sociale sur le continent africain.
Ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of best-selling authors and filmmakers? Afromedia offers an engaging media platform so you can begin your journey today.
In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development.
All right, thank you very much, guys, in the studio. I really appreciate it. Welcome back, everyone. All right, you can put us back now. You can remove the picture so that people can be able to see Lillian's face more clearly. So please kindly join with us. Those of you joining us, please share this program. Let it go viral. The more you share it, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. Let's celebrate this great woman. The remaining minute that is remaining on this program is going to be the time to celebrate, to time to laugh, the time to also showcase the great woman of our time. We need to go out there, go and grab the copy of this book. If you have not have access to read, Lillian is going to tell you where you're going to get it. Lillian, before we get out of this program, you're going to tell me how to pronounce your name. That's real name of yours. And please now, please try to be using it as well. Join with the Lillian, because that is who you are. We really appreciate that. All right, please, the guys in the studio, you can put us back on the stage now so that people can be able to see us more. All right, Lillian, let's talk about some great things that is coming from your table now. What is the next thing coming? And how can people get in touch with you? A lot of people want to grab the copy of this book. A lot of people want to hear from you. A lot of people want to invite you as a motivational speaker to other parts of the world. How can people get in touch with you?
You can go on my website, lilianokech.com. That is LILIANOKECH.com. And my book is available in over 50 websites. So any website in America that sells a book, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Ready to Read, any website that sells a book, my book is available in there. And you can find me on Facebook as Lilian Okech. You can message me if you want me to come and share my story in your program. I truly believe in the power of a storyteller, and I believe that the more we tell our story, the closer we will get in our connection with other people. So that is what I do. That is what I believe in. I will continue to share my story. Of course, this will not be the last book. I already have the title of my second book. And my children's book is supposed to be out together, but we're having some illustrator just a small problem. So we are going to fix that. And this book is going to be out. I already think about because the children's book is more like for the girls. So I want to do the voice version also with the same name, because Ageno in Luo is mean hope, and Ogeno is mean hope as well. It's from the man perspective. So that one is coming as well. Already in my vision board, I already have 10 titles of a book. That is, in my lifetime, I want to write more than 10 books. And I want to continue to share my story to lift up African young girls and young men up, to let them know that they are warriors, they are queens. They can decide on how they want their life to be. You can rewrite your life on how you want it to be. Not your mom, not your dad, not your uncle, not your husband, not your wife. You can decide on how you want your life to be. And the good life that you created for yourself, it will attract the good people to come in your life.
Wow, the good life you design for yourself, it will attract the good book and the good people to come into your life. All right, Lillian, I really appreciate that. Before we call it a day out of this program, this hour, I just want to celebrate you, and I want to look to you in the face and say, well done for the great work that you are doing on the continent of Africa. I mean, we celebrate you for the great work that you are doing in America, where you are, for raising the banner, for believing so much in African culture, in Africa ideology. We really appreciate it. I would say thank you very much for believing in your culture, for believing in your originality. Keep it up. Keep doing the great work that you are doing. Your book is available on Amazon and it's available in all online bookstores. So please go out there, support this great woman of our time. Buy a book. Also invite her. She's a motivational speaker. She's also one of the great women. She's an author and she's doing great in our community. Lila, before we call it a day out of this program this hour, what is failure means to you and what is success means to you? What is your own personal definition of the two?
For me, I don't fail. I learn from my mistake. So it's always learning or going through a challenge of learning. I never look at my experience. I will never change my past because my past is the one that created me to be who I am today. So I did not fail. It was a learning lesson. Some people, they go to school to get a degree. I get my degree in the School of Life. And that is the greatest degree that anybody can get. And winning is not, for me, it's not about money. For me, it's for people to know who are the true African. So it doesn't matter where I go. I always present who I am the way I am. So it's not about me putting makeup or changing my color or do this. No, none of that, because I am the true African woman. So when we did the book launch, everybody walked out with wow, because I bring the true African food. I bring the true African dance. I bring the true African color. You can see on my dress. You can see the way I sit, because I'm just so proud. And I think that's something that we as African, I keep preaching this. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of where you come from. It doesn't matter who say what about you. You are a royal king. You are a royal queen. Claim that. Put your shoulder up. Walk high and know that you can build your own territory.
All right, thank you very much. Because of our time, we have just 1 minute to get out of this program before we call it a day. Lillian, I know you are in America, but you don't lose your originality. I just want you to tell everybody in your own language, in your local language, all over the world, and to all your clans and to all your tribe, that you are on the African Portal Radio and on Afro Media Canada, on Africa on Camera, and tell them what you want them to know about you. Then we call it a day. In your language, not in English.
Ana nyinga gelungo Liliano Kesh kuberiwate African Portal. Ana tenya na sholi miru watching show mane ge Canada, ge South Africa. Adwako pot you can bodano weng magiteka watching wane ana tenya na chole ate African woman and I achungu piane.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate it. In South Africa, Siyabonga Kakulu. Thank you, everyone. Eshe. And I really appreciate you coming out to be part of this conversation. I hope if I call on you again, you will love to be here again.
Yes, I would love to. Thank you.
All right. Keep it up. We really appreciate it. Everyone around the world, please celebrate this great woman of our time. Appreciate the great work she's doing. She's author. She have it to herself all the way from Uganda, from Sudan to Uganda, as a refugee in Uganda, but getting to America, she's now author. She authored a book and she's also a great businesswoman. You can call her. You need any African attire. You want to know more about Africa. You want to learn African language. Anything you want to know about Africa, call her. But remember one thing I used to say, wear Africa, speak Africa, hit Africa. Africa will be great when we make ourselves one, when we support ourselves, when we believe in ourselves. See, next week I will see you again. My name is Dare OLUSAN. I will see you again next week by the grace of God. Lillian, thank you very much. I will see you again by the grace of God. God bless you to everyone. It's goodbye. Bye for now. Thank you.
In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the